Thank you to Deadlights. If you want to come back down the back now, I am joined by two Belfast City Councillors, Ross Brown of the Green Party, and let's make sure I get this right, Niall Donnghaile of Sinn Féin. Brownie points for pronouncing that one right. So I need to remind you all, just join in the Twitter activity. It's at RockTheVoteNI, and if you feel like I'm on Blue Peter or something right now. But you can join in, ask questions, and we'll try to feed those back to the politicians when they're with me. So I'm going to begin with Ross. He's reading the questions over my shoulder here. In the last local elections, the Green Party did slightly better than they usually would do. Someone's clapping, someone a fan in the corner, clearly. So you guys would sort of need to begin to get a bit more serious about your ideas, what your policies are, how you're going to implement them. And this will affect an awful lot of people in this room tonight, what's the Green Party's policy and approach to delivering more jobs for young people in Northern Ireland?
Well, I think it's about reimagining the economy and actually develop an economy that's much more resource and energy efficient. And actually by doing that, we can save ourselves money. We can keep money relocalising the economy as well, and not just depending all the time on foreign direct investment and attracting foreign companies in order to somehow generate that type of economic activity, but actually looking at the homegrown economy that we've got here and developing that more. And I think the approach that the executive and the five parties in the executive have taken, where they're trying to, for example, lower corporation tax for those big multinational businesses, rather than actually investing in our domestic businesses and our small businesses, and actually in that innovative sector of our economy to generate the growth and the innovation. I think that's the way forward. And also, I think it's very important to recognise the other approach in terms of recognising about the money that we're currently wasting because we don't invest enough in people. The social investment that's required. I mean, currently we have like some of the highest levels of preventable social problems, such as drug use, obesity, mental ill health, family breakdowns, and all those things are completely preventable if we put the money in the right place and we invest in preventing them, early intervention strategies, and save money further on down the line. Because at the moment we're spending a third more than most European countries in dealing with the consequences. So all those things about reimagining the economy and about developing a different model, protecting our public services, paying people a living wage, are all things that the Green Party would be standing for.
Okay, thank you. Niall, do you agree with what Ross said? Is there anything you'd maybe say differently?
Yeah, no, not really. I think Ross has hit a number of nails on the head there. I think what we are actually able to point to as two Belfast City councillors is examples and initiatives that we have took as a council, and it is doing exactly that. It is investing in people. It is about employing 200 new people in the City Council. It is about targeting young people, working with organisations like the Belfast Met, the Prince's Trust, to get people who, and I hate that term because it's pretty cliched now, but needs, get them back involved, but not just targeting them towards traditional or expected industries, but actually trying to be a wee bit more creative and target people into the sectors and into the industries that are growing now, and that is the creative industries, that is new media, new design, new arts, all of that kind of stuff. So we have took a punt in terms of the council, and we got a bit of flack for doing that. I mean, we are investing £156 million in the city. Some of what we're trying to do, and different people will have different issues with it, but I think the intent is very genuine. But some of what we've tried to do is invest in the new extension to the Waterfront Hall to attract more business tourism, to provide more jobs. And I do appreciate there is more to do at that high-end job, but that's why it's important that organisations work with us. Organisations like Queen's University, the University of Ulster, that's coming into the city centre as well, so that we can utilise the best of the city, and I think that's our people.
Ross, I mentioned the Green Party's election results. If you had a captive audience here like you do, and you were to stand up and urge them to vote Green, because some people think it's a fad, that it's not going to last very long, you're popular for a while, your wee green surge, as you talk about, is going to die a death sometime soon, what would your message be in a couple of sentences as to why people should vote for the Green Party?
Well, just to dispute this idea that maybe the surge won't continue, I mean, if you look at other European countries, they have huge Green parties. I mean, 50 million Germans are currently under a Green government of some sort where they're in coalition at the regional level. But in terms of messages I'm taking into the election, we're talking about things like the living wage. We want to see the living wage become the minimum wage, and we want to see that rise by 2020 to £10 an hour. So people should not be in work poverty. The other things we're bringing forward the election, we're promising a reversal of austerity and to actually protect public services, to recognise that protecting our public services and reversing this policy of austerity is crucial to get us out of the economic crisis that we're currently in. And then lastly, I think equality for everybody. I mean, it's been one of the big campaigns that we've been trying to drive, whether it's LGBT equality or equality for people from different races and different. Oh, we've lost it. Yeah, so those are some of the key issues anyway that we're going to be driving forward in the election, and I think it connects with young people, particularly the issue of equality. People are seeing that the discrimination that's being experienced in our society. It just isn't right. It's not right that we will be the only part of the UK and Ireland that, for example, won't have marriage equality in a very short space of time.
Niall, I can see you sitting there nodding away at the things that Ross was saying. Clearly you agree with an awful lot of what he said. What, for you, differentiates Sinn Féin from the politics of, say, the Green Party? What makes you different? What makes Sinn Féin a party that people should vote for above the Green Party?
Well, I mean, that's down to the people to make their own decision. I suppose there is an awful lot that we do agree on, and there's an awful lot that I think we could work on going future. Obviously, that's in the context because just like me, Ross is a member of an All-Ireland party. So, we're trying to push for a progressive alliance right across the island of Ireland. I think that's significant. I think there's much that we can work on. There's much that we can learn from each other. Certainly there'll be differences. I don't know that Ross will appreciate me saying this, given that we're both standing in East Belfast. But nevertheless, I do think right across the board, for all its faults, I mean, I think the Assembly and the Executive at Stormont is unique in that it has brought people together in some kind of ability to advance and to move, given where we were 15, 20, 25 years ago and more. And sometimes maybe it's easy for us to take that for granted. But we are in a place that isn't perfect. But I suppose we are in a much better place, and it's for those of us in the room tonight to make it even better again.
Thank you. There's been sort of in the past wee while a more heated debate and conversation about integrated education, about shared education, about the difference between the two. Are they effective? What's the best thing to do? Say now, what's your preference? Where's your party stand? And what's your plan, really, in terms of implementing anything?
Well, I mean, it's clear that under the Good Friday Agreement and everything that flowed from that there is special recognition for integrated education, alongside Irish medium education as well. So there is an onus on us to promote that, to help it to develop, and to give people the best possible trajectory, if that's what they want the way their kids to be educated. I'm the product of a non-denominational education, so I wasn't integrated into anything in particular. I think people should have the right to choose whatever education they feels best. I don't think that we should deliberately or cynically or for self-interest put up barriers between. But I mean, to bring it down to a more realistic level, I deal quite frequently, as people will know because I'm in the media for it regularly enough, with some of the interface tensions and difficulties that present themselves in East Belfast. That includes kids from integrated education, as well as it does from every other sector. So I don't know that it's a panacea or it's a cure for all our ills. I think it's proven that it is a fantastic model. It's proven to be a popular model. So I think it's one that, in line with the Good Friday Agreement, we needed to support and develop and continue to move forward. But I do think parents should have the right to choose as well. So in terms of shared education, do you think there is space for it in terms of implementing alongside, or? Absolutely. I mean, there has to be. As I say, I was lucky enough to be at school with people from a Protestant background, people from a Jewish background, people who came from a background of absolutely no religion in their family, and I think that enriched me. So I do think, whether it's shared, whether it's integrated, people should have the opportunity to engage. And sometimes we do our sectors a disservice when we simply say, that's a bad sector, and that's a good sector. There's a lot of our sectors that are working very, very hard to reach out, to enrich their students by proactively engaging them with other cultures and other traditions, and that's only a good thing.
Okay. Ross, any final words?
I think this is one area where we perhaps don't agree on, especially because actually I think integrated education, if we went for an integrated model, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, the signing of the Good Friday Agreement, where would we be now with this generation of young people coming forward? It's a big mistake that we've made by not integrating our education sector. And on a point of principle, I don't think that the government ought to be supporting education when there's religious instruction taking place. I don't think public money should be promoting religious instruction. Not that I disagree with religious education, but there's a clear difference there, and we should be moving to a secular model, the same way they have in France and the same way they have in America. And I think it would take us significantly forward in this country.
Okay, and on that note, if anyone would like to tease that out with either of them, grab them at the bar for a bit more debate. Thank you, Councillors Niall Donnghaile and Ross Brown.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.